What if the most profound stories we tell ourselves, the histories we revere, even those in sacred texts like the Bible, what if they aren't actually about specific people at all?
Okay.
What if they're really about universal, eternal concepts, states of being?
States of being.
Yeah, states that you, as an immortal consciousness, can actually navigate and embody.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the truly astonishing part, maybe. What if your very own imagination is the ultimate key?
The key to what, though?
Not just to understanding these concepts, but to actively shaping your entire reality.
Wow. Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into the, well, pretty radical and transformative teachings of Neville Goddard.
Right.
And this isn't just a different spin on familiar stories, it's more like a fundamental reinterpretation of consciousness, of reality itself.
And the power we have inside.
Exactly. The immense divine power within each of us.
Our journey today is sparked by a really intriguing YouTube transcript. It's titled Neville Goddard, Imaginal Acts Become Facts from the 100 kilowatt channel. And our mission, like always, is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights from this material.
Giving you a shortcut, kind of.
Yeah, a shortcut to understanding a perspective that could genuinely change everything you thought you knew about yourself and the world.
So get ready for some potentially surprising revelations.
And hopefully plenty of those aha
Yeah.
moments.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in and unpack one of the most, well, mind-bending ideas straight away.
Okay.
This premise that characters like Moses or Abraham in the Bible, they aren't historical individuals.
Right. The source says they're states.
States or states of consciousness. What does that even mean for us?
Well, what's really fascinating here is how the source draws this line, this distinction between the person and the state.
Okay.
It explicitly says, and this is, I think, a crucial point, that the characters depicted in the Bible are not the individuals named God. There are simply states signified by those names.
So the names are like labels for states?
Exactly. Think of these states as eternal, permanent archetypes, almost like cities on a map of consciousness.
Cities. Okay, I like that analogy.
And we, as immortal beings, according to this view, we pass through these states. We experience them.
So the states, they stay put.
The states themselves remain, yeah. But we are the ones constantly moving through them, embodying them for a time.
So when we read about Moses, it's not about a guy who lived thousands of years ago.
Not in the literal historical sense, no. It's more a profound spiritual concept or an experience we can have.
And the text backs this up, right? It says the word Moses means to be born.
Mm-hmm. And Abraham means the father of the multitude.
So the names themselves are clues. They signify the state.
Precisely. And the material points out a common misunderstanding.
Which is?
That people often take these personifications, these labels, for states, and they worship it as a person.
Ah, so they miss the deeper meaning.
They miss the distinction between the eternal state and the individual who is just passing through it.
Right.
And this whole spiritual journey, moving through these various states, say starting from Abraham, it ultimately leads towards what the source calls our own redemption.
Redemption.
And it culminates in a final state, which is personified as Jesus.
But not Jesus, the historical figure.
No, not an external figure to be worshipped, but a transformative state of being that you, the individual, can actually enter.
Wow. That definitely challenges a lot of traditional views, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So if these revered figures we've learned about are actually these profound eternal states within consciousness, what does that shift for you, our listener? How does that change how you see your own spiritual path or even just read these ancient texts?
That's a big shift in perspective.
Okay, so if that wasn't already making your brain buzz a little, here's where it gets, I think, really interesting. The source makes this astonishing claim. You are all imagination, and God is all imagination.
Okay.
You are God, and God is actually within you as your own wonderful human imagination. I mean, when I first encountered that, the idea that my imagination isn't just, a mental playground.
But it's the divine power.
Yes. That really stopped me in my tracks. It's suggesting your imagination isn't just daydreaming, it's the very force that creates reality itself.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, the text puts it quite simply. Imagining creates reality.
Just like that.
Pretty much. Your fundamental I am, your core awareness, your being, is described as the only reality.
The only reality.
Yeah, the thing that precedes anything that I have ever been.
Okay.
Which means whatever you assume yourself to be, whatever you claim internally as I am, like I am wealthy, or I am healthy.
You're actually creating that experience.
You are actively creating that experience, according to this teaching.
So this isn't just about transforming yourself then. It sounds like it could be a powerful tool for helping others too.
That's right.
The material gives a practical example, like helping someone who's unemployed. How does that work if you're not, physically giving them money or finding them a job?
Well, the transcript lays out a clear technique for this. It's all internal.
Okay.
If someone needs help, you don't necessarily intervene physically. Instead, inside your own mind, you represent him to myself as being gainfully employed.
Or married or whatever they need.
Exactly. Whatever's a normal, natural request that is not in conflict with your own moral, ethical code. That's an important point.
Right, ethically.
And the crucial part, the mechanism, is to carry on a conversation mentally with that friend from the basis that he is in that state.
So you imagine talking to them as if their wish is already fulfilled.
Yes. And the key to making it work, to being self-persuaded, is to internally feel the reality of that imagined scene.
Feel it like it's already happened.
As if it's already a fact. It's about cultivating that inner conviction, that feeling.
This reminds me a bit of that biblical story, Peter not giving the man money, but saying, rise up and walk, giving him a new state of consciousness.
That's a good parallel. And the speaker in the source material shares this wonderfully relatable story.
Oh, yeah, the restaurant story.
A New York restaurant, yeah. Where he firmly insisted internally on getting clams for breakfast, even though they weren't on the menu.
Right, because that's what he wanted.
And it illustrates this principle perfectly. Choosing to occupy your desired state, rather than just accepting what's presented externally.
So forget manifesting millions for a second. Sometimes it's just about getting the clams you really want for breakfast.
Exactly. It's about not letting external circumstances or even other people poison you and throw you into a state you don't desire.
So you hold firm internally.
You hold firm. And once you've done the imaginal act, it's like planting a seed.
Okay.
The advice is very clear. You simply leave it alone and don't raise one finger to make it so.
Don't meddle with it.
Don't discuss it. Don't keep digging it up mentally to see if it's working. Don't try to force it.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Each seed, each imaginal act has its own appointed hour to ripen, and as the text says, it will not be late.
It's an act of faith, really.
An act of faith in the creative power of your own consciousness, your imagination.
So how does this fundamental understanding of imagination, how does it reshape your view of influence, of personal agency, and even how you approach supporting friends or loved ones when they're struggling? It really changes the game, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It shifts the focus inward.
Our deep dive also talks about this grand sort of universal journey through these states, a journey often symbolized as moving from Abraham to Jesus, and it culminates in a profound awakening.
Right, and it's not just a personal path. The source suggests it's a process everyone, everywhere, is undertaking, whether they know it or not.
Okay, so what does that journey lead to?
According to the source, it leads to this profound realization that you are God, completely individualized, and yet you're God.
Individualized, yet still God.
Yes, the end of this epic journey is described as the complete awakening of your own wonderful human imagination.
And that's symbolized by David.
Yes, symbolized by the figure of David, the Son of God, calling you Father. And David here isn't portrayed as an old man, but as the eternal youth. He represents the resultant state of your journey from Abraham to Jesus.
So a kind of unified divine self-realization.
Exactly, something that transcends our everyday individual personalities.
And this journey, this perspective, it even radically redefines something as fundamental as death.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. The source states the last enemy to be destroyed or to be overcome is death.
Because
we are in our essence immortal beings.
Immortal.
The speaker in the material even shares these deeply personal experiences, these visions of conversing with people the world called dead. Yet he says to themselves, they are not dead. They're simply existing in different time slots or dimensions of consciousness.
Different time slots. That perspective offers, immense freedom, doesn't it? Especially when it comes to forgiveness.
Oh, definitely. The source really emphasizes this. When someone acts negatively toward you, the idea is he only expressed the state into which he unwittingly fell.
So they're not inherently bad, they just slipped into a negative state.
That's the concept. They aren't fundamentally flawed. They're just occupying a particular, maybe undesirable state of consciousness at that moment.
So if you understand that.
If you grasp this, you can potentially lift him out of this state if you request it, through your own imaginal act, rather than judging the individual.
We learn to separate the person from the state they're in.
Exactly. You
Yep.
learn to discriminate between the individual and the state he occupies, which is, pretty powerful lesson in compassion, I think.
It really is. And just to hammer home how radical these teachings are,
Yeah,
the source goes so far as to completely reject the historicity of biblical figures,
right. It brings up scholars like Albert Schweitzer.
who, as the material notes, found no historicity of Christ.
Yeah. It powerfully insists that God isn't found in history books or external figures. God comes from within.
God awakens within.
Precisely. Not as someone outside of you. This whole biblical narrative, from this viewpoint, isn't literal history. It's divine history.
Divine history, like a blueprint.
Or a play in eternity, as the source calls it, continually unfolding within the consciousness of each and every person.
So this universal awakening, it means everyone eventually reaches that same realization.
That's the implication. Everyone is going to see David, meaning everyone will have this realization, and therefore that will show the unity of humanity, for all will be the father of David.
Because David symbolizes that awakened state.
Right, and it underscores this fundamental unity. If you're the father of my son, then you and I are one.
We all arrive at the same place, recognizing the same divine self within.
It suggests a shared realization, bringing humanity together in a profound internal recognition.
Think about how that transforms your understanding of human nature, how it completely reframes forgiveness, and what it suggests about the ultimate purpose of your life's journey. It's a truly profound shift in perspective.
Definitely a lot to mull over.
So after diving deep into all this, what does it all mean for you, our listener, right here, right now? We've unpacked these extraordinary teachings of Neville Goddard, this idea that biblical characters are eternal states,
That your imagination is divine. It literally shapes reality.
and that your life is this grand journey towards an ultimate awakening of God within you.
Yeah, the core message from this deep dive, I think, is pretty clear. You are the important one.
You, the individual listener.
Yes. As the source powerfully puts it, you, as you sit here when you say, I am, that is the God of the universe, that is the God passing through these states.
Wow. That's direct.
It is. You are an immortal being, the text says, who cannot die. You're continually individualizing, moving towards this ultimate understanding, this complete realization of your own divine self.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If every single person you meet is simply occupying a state,
Mm-hmm.
and if your own wonderful human imagination is the divine tool you've been given to help yourself and others navigate and transform these states, what new possibilities does that open up right now in your daily interactions?
Yeah, how does that change things?
What state will you choose to occupy today? Or perhaps, what state will you choose to help another person enter, just using the power of your imagination?